Yes, Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone.
Fine, sir.
Can you hear me? Everyone?
Yes.
Ini hujan sikit rainy day. It's raining now. Okay. I hope that we can pronounce without any disruption. Okay. First of all, I would like to inform you that on this upcoming Thursday, there will be no class due to public holiday. Prophet Muhammad birthday or Maulidur Rasul. Okay. However, don't forget to submit your mini scheme one that prepared individually before 12 midnight. Okay. Just submit as usual through online learning. So today I would like to discuss about half of chapter 2, around 10 slides, and some of them, some of the theory already discussed in chapter 1. So I will go very fast, but I think it will take around 30 minutes to 1 hour to discuss the half of this chapter. Okay, and I believe that you have already gone through the note, and maybe you can give some ideas and share your thought about the theory formulation. Okay, what else to say? Okay, before I start our discussion, I would like to say that you will find some similarities among the theories. Don't be surprised. Later on, I worry that you will say to me, why some theory look similar? It is true. Some theory look similar and share the same characteristic. Although the name of the theory different each other, but some of them are quite similar. For example, if you read pragmatic, you can see that some similarities with semantic. Or if you go through authoritarian, okay, you can see that it's quite you have element of normative. Okay, same goes to when we talk about sociological. Okay, some say that is a part of ethical is a part of sociological. Okay, because it's concerned with the social welfare. So it is actually difficult to say that a theory is unique to that theory only, but actually it has some shared elements, some shared values. And then I want to say that for the time being, I only will touch about the formulation of accounting theory approach without categorize them into certain categories or certain classification. For example, if you read some books, you will find out pragmatic, let's say, pragmatic and authoritarian are classified as traditional approach, non-theoretical, and didactic, and so on are considered as traditional, theoretical, and the last three or last four. So let me see. Okay, as you can see here, some texts say that the letter after this slide, regulatory behavioralism and also positivism are considered latest development or new approach to accounting formulation. But I might not agree. You might agree, might not agree, because this theory already applied in accounting for a long time ago. If you realize in chapter 1, we have behavioral period, behavioral accounting period around 70s, 80s already, and positivism also around 80s, 70s already apply in accounting practice. Okay, but it's okay. For the time being, just let us know about the approach to formulation of accounting theory. So here I suggest 14 altogether, 14. But I think this among the major that we discussed in FAR 5 paper, and I can say that they are not limited to this 14. Actually, there are so many other theory, predictive theory lah, macam-macam nama ada. But for the time being, we only discuss this 14 theory. And then another objective for this chapter is for the verification. How we verify the theory. In other words, how we know the theory is correct or not. Okay. If you can see that kita ada kita ada dogmative, kita ada self assessment, and then we have scientific method to approve a theory. So later on we discuss. So I will turn off the video to to avoid you to consume more data for this class. Okay. Okay, formulation and verification of accounting theory. Okay, you might wonder what is mean by formulation. If you refer to to language perspective, formulation sometimes can be referred to development as well. Some says that formulation is something to do with the early development. Okay, when we want to develop something, so at the early stage we call it formulation. So after that the process is called development. But for me it's okay lah. If you want to use formulation or development interchangeably, no problem. So you can change. You can change either you want to use formulation or development, no problem. Okay, from our discussion, it refer to the same things. Okay. Okay. According to Henderson and McDonald, I don't know McDonald here is related to McD or not. But these two fellas are theories, accounting theories. Okay. McDonald argues that a theory must have three elements. Okay, these three elements. If you want to say a theory is a theory, nak kata satu teori itu adalah teori, a theory is a theory, we must have these three elements. So I don't want to discuss further about this, but I want you to find out whether accounting theory satisfy these three elements. For example, manipulation or combination according to rule. So you refer back to the accounting, whether this is true or not, this second element, or you refer to encoding of phenomena to symbolic representation. Okay, whether you agree or not. If you agree, what would be your justification? If not, what will be your justification? Why or, in other words, why and why not, or whether you agree or not with this statement. Okay, if a theory have these three elements, that means that the theory qualified to be called as a theory. Okay, so we want to know whether accounting satisfy these three elements. So maybe after some time, I give you some time, maybe after some time I will ask this question to you. For the time being, I'll let you to find out the answer because I don't want to explain here. I want to hear from you. What is your view about this? Okay, adakah accounting ni merangkumi tiga elemen ni? Okay, and then you have to support your answer. Okay, as I mentioned before, many different approach to theory formulation or development in accounting because no single theory can be explained accounting as a whole. Okay, accounting is a wide area, it's a vast area. Okay, we can see from various perspectives about the behavior, about economics perspective, psychological perspective. Don't be surprised. Nowadays people try to explain about the accountant sociological aspect, psychological aspect, okay, about the accountant stress, a theory about accountant stress, about the accountant burnout, you stressful, when you perform a job, and then people try to explain with a theory. You, for example, you are about to join the profession one day, okay? You will join public accounting, you will join public accounting firm, you will know how stressful the situation is. Okay, or you join the company, become the part of management, you will know how stressful the accountants would be. Okay, to prepare the report every month, to get the figure from the production. I have gone through all these things. Okay, so from that perspective, we can see that when we talk about accounting, it's not about it's not about you are talking about the bookkeeping, the numbers, the financial reporting. It also involves people that affect the accounting or those that affected by the accounting itself. Okay, accountant, the user, okay, the financial reporting, or you want to study about the taxpayer behavior and so on. Okay, so due to that, the accounting is so complex. Not the accounting, in other phenomena as well. Okay, we cannot expect to explain something from the single perspective. So we have to find out various theory in order to explain a given phenomena, including accounting. Okay, first, pragmatic. So I believe that you have understood about this because we already discussed it in chapter 1. So the keyword for pragmatic is real world, real life setting, realistic, real, practical. Okay. And then we go further. Actually, pragmatic, the main focus two. Observing the behavior of accountant, and the second one, observing, or we study, or we focus on those that use the accountant's information. In other words, the user. So there are two orientation or focus under pragmatic. But the keyword from the pragmatic is practical, real life setting, reality. But the focus is we observe the accountant behavior and the user of information behavior. User or information behavior, maybe the information behavior, the information user, including like shareholders, prospective investors, bankers, financial institution, the government, and also NGO also use information provided by the accountant. So these are example. For example, you develop a theory by observing the practice and technique of working accountant. Okay, maybe the best one you will become the norm. Maybe you can suggest. You can suggest to the pragmatic. Okay, so the best practice will become the norm. Okay, maybe you observe why certain accountant choose LIFO instead of FIFO, or you study, you try to develop a theory to explain accountants' behavior when it comes to professional judgment, or you want to study on how accountant identify fair value, okay, something like that. Okay, and then how people react to uh, the same message in different way. For example, okay, maybe you do experiment test. You give the same information, the same accounting information to shareholders, and then you ask the shareholder to respond to the same information. What would be the difference? What would be the would be the response? So you will see the similarity and different uh, related to the response. Maybe some of the some of the investor give the favorable response to the information, and some investor might might give the unfavorable response to that particular information. For example, okay, so the main concentration here to study accounting behavior and to study the user that use accountants information or accounting informations. Okay, and then we go to the second is authoritarian. If you realize, if you read the theory of authoritarian, you can see that it's quite similar to the normative. So what is the twist here? What is the difference? So when I think about this, when I further think about this, I can conclude that maybe you are not agree with me, but I can conclude that okay, I can see that what is the difference between authoritarian and normative is maybe in terms of implementation. Okay, if you use authoritarian, we use we tend to use the stern action to implement something. stern ni maksudnya keras, very harsh action when you want to implement something. Like the unlike the normative is something, something to do with the suggestion. You ask people to do something, but maybe the way you ask the people more on the advice, or you do it slowly. Okay, you do it slowly. You try to use to use some flexibility. You're not too harsh to ask the people to do something. But I can see that both are similar. Okay, authoritarian and normative. But for me, authoritarian is more harsh or stern action. You want to implement something, you simply ask people to follow. Maybe this authoritarian is true, is really true. In army, for example, in armed forces, kan, when the when the general, when the superior give order to the subordinate, kan, normally they won't ask, they won't query about the order from the superior. Just follow whatever the superior said to do and so on. Okay. In other macam dia kata to issue pronouncement policy, all this similar to normative. Okay. And then the third is deductive. So the keyword for deductive is from general to specific application. So if you use this kind of theory, you tend to make a general statement to specific statement. So it is in contrast to inductive. Inductive balik in contrast. In another way around, we call it from particular to general. Okay. Example, you can see from this syllogism, we call it syllogism. I believe that you have learned this in your statistics or your mathematics paper last time. For example, you start your theory with you said all asset account has debit balance. Okay. The cash account is an asset account and the cash account has a debit balance. So you start with all for the general statement, and then you apply and then you become more specific from general to specific. Okay, for example, you say that all accounting students in UUM are genius. You say that. Okay, so Ali is one of the accounting student in UUM. So specifically, you make the conclusion Ali is genius. So if you use this style of theory development, you use, the orientation is from general statement to more specific statement. Okay, from something a big picture, and then you try to zoom into the smaller picture, something like that. Okay, deductive. Okay, in contrast, we start the theory development from the specific, okay, and then we make the general conclusion. Okay, for example here, the cash account is an asset and has debit balance, and then same goes to the premise 2 also said the same thing, premise 3 also said the same thing. So we can make the conclusion that all asset account has debit balance. For example, you want to know about the quality of accounting student in Malaysia. Okay, and then you use inductive style of theory development. Okay, so you study in UM, you study in USM, you study in USIM, you study in UKM, you study in UITM, you study in UNIZA, you study in UMK, UNIMEC, and so on lah. All the university that offer accounting. So you study the quality of accounting student there. So if the finding for each university shows that the student have quality, okay, and then you can make the generalization or the general conclusion that all the accounting student in Malaysia have quality, something like that. Okay, so inductive, don't be confused, deductive and deductive. Normally in the examination, when we ask this question, people normally they change each other. Inductive become deductive, deductive become inductive. So deduct, general to specific. Induct, specific to general. And I believe that you have learned this in mathematics paper last time. Okay. And then we go to the next approach, synthetic. Nama dia sedap, synthetic. Okay. So this kind of theory we develop based on the logic, argument, we manipulate the word, we manipulate the figure, we manipulate whatever, but we don't relate this theory with the real life situation. That's why you can see that by themselves the synthetic proposition or suggestion have no empirical content. Because synthetic we only rely on the way we play around with the theory. Sometimes we read something when people wrote something and then we so impressed with the writing and we tend to believe that although the writing not relates to cannot be related to the real life situation. Okay, for example Prismis one said that all account relating to asset has debit balance. Okay, accumulated depreciation account relates to asset. Okay, so the accumulated depreciation account has debit balance. Okay, based on the synthetic style of theory development, this statement considered true because we play around with the word, with the sentence. But if you relate to the real world, the accumulated depreciation account has a debit balance is incorrect or is wrong because the accumulated depreciation has credit balance. Although it's related to the accounting, although it's related to the asset, but accumulated depreciation actually is a contra account to the asset. It's not an asset account but contra account to asset. Because we want to reduce the value the carrying value of the asset based on the useful life okay. So synthetic, I don't know what else what accounting example to reflect the synthetic, but if you realize just to to get the greater picture, if you realize there is one theory called evolution theory by Charles Darwin, if I'm not mistaken. The theory said that the human come from the apes or evolution from the apes, and many people tend to believe that argument. Maksudnya manusia datang daripada beruk ataupun evolve daripada beruk. I don't know whether you can accept the theory or not, but I can't. Although maybe it's the explanation makes sense or has a logical content, but if we relate to this theory to the real life setting or practically, we can we can correspond or relate this theory to the real life setting, because we cannot find half human, half ape or half monkey. What we know that monkey is monkey and human is human. Although we can find that many human behave like a monkey. Banyak orang macam beruk banyak. Lompat sana, lompat sini, terkinja sana, terkinja sini, itu ada. Tapi kalau kita nak kata ada evolution from human from the ape and then become human is considered unproven. Tidak orang kata apa, tidak terbukti sebenarnya. But in terms of explanation tu, maybe you say that is logic, but you try to relate. Cuba you relate tengok teori tu ada ke? Apa can prove me to me? Kalau ada, saya nak pergi tengok kat mana yang ada setengah manusia, half pen, half ape. Setengah manusia, setengah beruk. Takat ni belum jumpa lagi lah. Kalau ada boleh bagi tahu saya nak pergi tengok. So that one is a good example from the synthetic, because if you see the argument from the from evolution theory, you see that whatever in this world come naturally and then they evolve They evolve due to to certain phenomena. Okay, they mix up with the certain element in this world, and then they become another thing. Logically, and then we can accept. But if we relate to the real life setting, we can't. We can't do that. Okay, and then next, semantik. Dalam exam selalu nak tukar ni benda-benda ni. Semantik dengan sintetik, sintetik dengan semantik, semantik dengan pragmatik. Okay, if you realize semantik actually has the shared value with the pragmatic, because here we are concerned about the real life setting, real life, real world, and then in terms of the practical of something, and then normally refer to to the event and object. Okay, maybe this one what may different between these two event and object. The other thing, if you realize, focus on accountant behavior and the user of the accounting information. Okay, for instance, okay, this is an example provided by by accounting theory book. So based on this, you know this accounting equation. Asset equal to liability plus honest equity. It said that purely abstract, the equation only realistic and meaningful if we correlate with the real world. What is mean by this? Anyone can tell me what is mean by asset equal to liability plus equity? Ada siapa-siapa boleh beritahu saya tak? How to make it realistic? Anyone? Or I want to choose? Ada siapa-siapa ke nak respon? Siapa partisipan ni? Ada tak? Nur Syahira ke apa? Nur Syahira. Nama macam saya ni. Ada tak Nur Syahira? Nur Syahira.
Ada, sir.
Boleh tak you relate dengan, dia kata semantik ni kita kena relate dengan real life kan? Dengan reality, dengan practical, what is going on out there. Boleh tak you explain dekat kawan-kawan apa maksudnya asset equal to liability plus equity ni? Boleh? Maybe layman term je, tak payahlah tu complicated sangat. Yang you faham lah, selama ni apa you faham tentang ni? Tentang this equation. Maksudnya apa? Maksudnya?
Dia asset equal to liability plus equity. Ini accounting equation. So kalau dalam company tu, macam mana dia nak relate dengan real life?
Itulah dalam company apa benda. Kalau you ambil konteks kita nak doing business lah, katalah you nak involve in business lah. You nak buat, nak jual, nak jadi kosmetik punya, mana? Apa lagi orang panggil tu? Jutawan kosmetik. Kosmetik kena kan? Nak jadi macam Datuk Vida ke kan? Apa lagi tak tahu. Macam mana you nak apply benda ni? Asset equal to liability plus equity. Katalah you nak conduct a business and then you try to relate with this equation. Apa yang you boleh derive ataupun trigger from this equation?
Kalau ikut equation ni, kiranya dia ada liability dengan equity. Dia ada maybe hutang ataupun dia ada capital dia sendiri untuk dia conduct business tu. And then bila dia conduct business tu, dia ada asset.
Yeah.
Like building dia punya produk.
Inventory kan? Okay, thank you very much, Nur Syahira.
Okay,
Jangan takut. Ini biasa je. Ini bukan depan-depan pun, tak ada siapa nampak you pun kan. Nobody can see you. Okay, thank you very much to our friend, Nur Syahira. So, what she said is correct, okay. For example, if you want to involve in business, we try to relate this situation with the realistic, the real world. Let's say you want to involve in business, okay, you must have asset to run the business. If no asset, how could you run the business? Kan? Tak ada asset, nak run business apa? For example, inventory, your trading, your trading item, you don't have any asset. How could you conduct the business? Okay, so in order to prepare or to have asset for your business, you can acquire this asset through your own contribution. You contribute by all your own money or whoever money, okay, and by liability as well. For example, you make a loan, you ask money from your parent, you ask money from the bank, or you got some scheme from the government. So if you relate this economic equation in that kind of situation, that means that it has a realistic content, or in other words, it has semantic element. But I agree if you say that this semantic is most likely like the pragmatic. Memang nak dekat dengan sama saja. Dua-duanya tu cerita benda yang sama, realistic, real life setting, practical and so on. Okay, so that one is a simple example lah. But even to talk more about this, maybe we can take another 2 or 3 hours to just explain about what is mean by this asset equal to liability and plus equity. Because that one simple lah kan, equity simple, from simple perspective we say that in terms of owner contribution. How about the revaluation and so on, and also under the equity, but that one is not our concern. Just to say that here, okay, whatever theory that you want to develop, you must relate to the real world. Okay, if not, it's tend to be that people will reject your theory. Okay, it's not concerned to the line of logic argument. Okay, logic argument ni actually synthetic, because you use language manipulation of language to develop your theory. But in contrast to synthetic is semantic, the theory said that it's not concerned to the line of logic argument. So example you can see from this example. So previous one said that all asset account has debit balance. Okay, previous two said that sales return account is not an asset account. Okay, so if you compare these two, so you can see that has a relationship or not. Okay, so you go to the conclusion. So the sales return account has a debit balance. Is it true or not? Sales return account has debit balance. It's true, right? It's true. But if you use the synthetic, what will be the answer? If you use synthetic, what will be the answer? What will be the conclusion? This one is based on the semantic, but what would be the conclusion if you use the synthetic? Anyone to cari laki pula lah, no? Laki ke? Laki ni dah jadi spesies ni ke? Spesies apa? Apa dia orang panggil? Spesies yang pupus. Makin pupus kan orang lelaki, tak tahu gimana.
So I think the conclusion is the sales return
Okay,
account.
anybody want to respond? What would be the conclusion if you use the synthetic? This one is semantic conclusion, right? Let's say if we want to change this, you want to change this conclusion to semantic, what would be the answer? The sales return account has a apa?
As a debit balance.
As a credit balance, right?
Yes.
As a credit balance. If you use a synthetic, okay, if you use synthetic, the conclusion would be the sales return account has a credit balance, but it's untrue. Okay, although premise 1 and premise 2 are inconsistent, but the conclusion still reflects the real world. I like about the last time when I talk about about the LGBTQ, right? Okay, it is it is inconsistent each other. We can't even imagine how could a man love a man and then a woman love a woman. How could a person become bisexual and so on. Okay, but in the real life, in the from the real life setting or from the what happening out there or in the real world, okay, this kind of phenomena exist or happening. Walaupun kalau kita bolehlah cakap apa saja kan, katalah premise 1 only a man will love a woman. Premise 2, Ali is a man, Ina is a woman. Conclusion, Ali love Abu. Something like that. Dia realistik. Katalah betul yang Ali ni dia cintakan si Abu. Jadi dia ada semantic content walaupun kita tengok ada dia inconsistent with the premises above ataupun this premises consistent. As long as they relate to the real world, then we can say that the theory has semantic content. Kalau you ada soalan lagi bolehlah kita bincang. Kalau you tak puas hati lagi ke apa kan. Okay, and then we go to the next second last of our slide. Normative. Ini pun selalu kita dah bincang we already discussed this. The keyword for the normative, what should be done, prescriptive, what to do, what will do. This among the keyword for the normative, and also used by the regulator. Same goes to the autocratic tadi, authoritarian. But as I mentioned before, from my point of view, implementation of something, if you use a normative, normally is soft term, is softened or is less stern when compared to authoritarian. Authoritarian normally apply more stern action when to improve something. Dia lebih keras. Dia macam paksa orang ikut. Tapi normatif ni suruh juga orang buat. Ask people to do something, but in very how to say that, very polite way, very soft, very soft style. Ada kita persuade, macam persuade people to do something. Kita macam pujuk orang to do something rather than we impose just like that. So if you use that, the acceptance is better kan. Selalunya kalau kita nasihat orang elok-elok, kita give advice, okay, we justify je, we justify our action, why you have to do this and you have to do that, okay, the do and the don'ts and so on, okay. Orang kata through cara yang berhemah kan, in very smart way, we ask people to do something. But if you say that normative and autocratic have the shared value, so I agree with you. Okay, so this one, the concentration of normative theories. Normative theory has two concentration. First, they want to have a single measure of asset. Okay, they say that if you use different measurement of asset, it tend to distort the income, the reported income. So I give you an example. Okay, for example, you have the same asset. The same asset, first you try to use the historical cost. The second one, you use the fair value, and then you run the depreciation for the particular asset using the different measurement model. Okay, so I believe that you already learn in fund paper. You will derive the different depreciation expense. Okay, when you derive the different depreciation expense, that means that the reported income also will different each other if you use the different measurement model. Okay, so normative theories argue that if you use different measurement for the asset, it's unlikely to get the true profit figure. So if you test, like I just mentioned to you just about the about the example just now, so you can see that of course if you use the different measurement model, you will derive the different depreciation expense. At least we don't want to go further. At least in terms of depreciation, it will be different amount. And then depreciation is a part of expenses under the comprehensive income statement, and then you will see the difference in terms of net income reported. If you don't believe me, you try. You try to put side by side. One income statement use historical cost, one income statement use the fair value measurement. You will derive the different income, reported income. I don't know lah whether whether which one higher, which one lower, but you will derive the different profit. Okay. And then the second consideration is about the decision usefulness. So normative said that whatever accounting, whatever you want to do about the accounting, at the end of the day, you must able to provide the usefulness information for decision making. Because as I mentioned before, we want to stay relevant in the market. Okay, we want people to use our information for their decision. If people think that or user thinks that our product, in other words, information provided are no longer relevant, no longer useful for decision making, so people will shift to other kinds of information, like people will shift to economist information, to statistician information, mathematician information, or people tend to hear about what we call it hearsay kan, tends to be the hearsay about rumors, about whatever about what stated on the social media rather than focus on information provided by the accountant in order to make the economic decision. Sekarang ni pun kita tengok memang ada some that kind of tendency. People not really rely on the accounting information per se, kita katakan. Hanya rely pada maklumat tu saja. But people tends to rely to other information as a supplementary information in order to make decision. It's okay for me kalau you want to use other media to make the decision, but you have to make sure that accounting become the champion in this sense. Masih become the champion. Kita tak nak kita lost kita punya relevance. Because if you lost your relevance, okay, maybe you will face a very hard time to stay in the market. Like like sekarang ni kan, if you can see that aviation industry face very difficult time, very hard time. Many air carrier we call it air carrier, airlines are considering to to shrink the operation, to shut down. AirAsia Act, for example, AirAsia Act is a very we can see that well-established company, but still cannot sustain in this pandemic. Same goes to the MAS. MAS pun susah nak sustain sekarang. They are talking to retrench employee. You can see from, kalau you masuk kat YouTube tu, you can see from Zarul Umbrella punya channel tu, you tengok sekarang pramugari sekarang jadi apa, jual nasi tepi jalan lah, buka jual dekat pasar malam lah, night market lah kan. Bukan for the sake kita nak to downgrade these people, tapi you can see that how people have to adapt with the latest situation in order to survive. How could we imagine kalau kita tengok from the logical point of view, kalau kita tengok from statistic how could we, to imagine these pramugari, stewardess, and then the pilot sekarang dah involved dalam Grab Food. Jadi orang yang hantar Grab Food sahaja. Daripada gaji yang ribu-riban tu, puluh-puluh ribu riban, gaji pilot, you know that, sometimes get up to 30,000, 40,000 per month. But due to COVID-19, they lost their job and now they deliver the food. Jadi Grab Food punya make the Grab Food deliveries. How could you imagine that? Tapi kalau we explain from the pragmatic point of view, so that is acceptable lah sebab we face this pandemic. Tapi from synthetic, kita tengok macam tak logik saja. Logik ke dia orang ni daripada pilot buat kerja-kerja yang macam ni kan? Tapi bukan saya nak downgrade. I want to repeat again. I'm not going to downgrade this. But actually I'm proud of them sebenarnya. I'm proud of them because they do whatever legal lah. Whatever legal, they do whatever in order to survive. You have to take their spirit. Dia tak adalah sampai malu-malu, tak nak kerja lah, duduk rumah tak buat apa kan. Sehingga macam orang macam dia orang tu, contohnya macam steward and stewardess, they have look kan, dia ada look, ada personality. Tapi akhirnya dia orang sanggup, they have guts, to to change the profession, to do whatever they can do, to challenge themselves, to get the new knowledge and skill, in order to survive. That one is very, very, orang kata, inspired me very much. Okay. So lastly lah ni. Okay. Oh, ada satu lagi. So the conclusion from this concentration, from normative point of view, they say that financial statement should mean what they say. So this is considered ideal lah if we can produce financial statement that really reflect the condition, the financial condition, the operation condition of entities. Tapi yalah, you have to remember that accounting process also involves so many factors about the professional judgment. Sometimes ada some manipulation and so on. Okay, we go to the last slide of today. Okay. Semua dah celik mata dah, semangat sebab dia last slide. Okay. So the last slide, so eight approach is ethical. Okay. According to the theory, basically this approach consists of concept, true and fair view, or true and fair justice. So these values we can also found in Islamic accounting. I explained in the last class. Okay. And then this concept imply that, okay, financial reporting have not been subject to undue influence. Okay, as I mentioned before, when you prepare accounting, when you record all the transaction, there is tendency people will influence, will interfere in the process. You will see when you join the profession. I don't want to tell in detail about that, but after some time you will realize there is an influence from the management, from the top management when it comes to accounting record. For example, you want to expand the research expand, you want to expand. Sometimes due to low income, the top management expected that in that particular period you will achieve lower income compared to the previous period. So maybe they will ask you to find ways how to translate, how to change this research expend that you will charge as a revenue expenditure, okay, to become the development as the capital expenditure. They try to interfere in that process. They will ask you to change from research expend to become the development expend, and then the development expend can be capitalized. When you capitalize, the you can spread the expenditure throughout the amortization period. Kalau research, for example, kalau research, katalah you spend 1 million for that particular year for research, okay, and then this 1 million you will charge as research expense under the income statement, okay. But let's say you try to manipulate this and then become the development expense. Okay, let's say your company policy said that you can amortize this development throughout the 5-year period. So for that particular year, you only charge 200k under your income statement, amortization of development, something like that. You can play around, okay, with that. Sometimes we call it creative accounting, and then we want to avoid bias, bias to some of the information bias or favored to our company. For example, when your company when the government took legal action towards your company, or somebody sue your company, take legal action to your company, you explain in the what we call it contingency liability, under part notes to the account, contingency liability. Okay, you mentioned about ada some parties took legal actions toward your organization, but the way you tell to the people, the way you explain about the legal action favored to you. Maybe you said that people or government agency misinterpret about your action, they don't really understand about your operation and so on. You mislead, you try to bias, you bias and then favor to your organization. And then we also talk about to avoid misrepresentation. Okay, we don't want people to confuse about accounting. For example, last time we call it balance sheet. For example, the statement of financial position, we call it balance sheet. So balance sheet, what is balance sheet? And sometimes if we refer to the name, we cannot imagine what actually under the balance sheet. What actually the meaning of balance sheet? The balance sheet itself. Apa kunci kira-kira kita panggil dulu, ataupun imbangan duga ke? Bukan imbangan duga, dia apa? Balance sheet apa dia? Lembaran imbanan. Apa benda lembaran imbanan? Apa yang imbang? Apa yang lembaran? Lembaran hari raya kan, lebaran ke apa kan? Kita confuse. But nowadays we can see that no longer we use that term to reflect the statement. Then now we use statement of financial position. So from the name, it's not mislead the user or those that wants to refer to that particular statement. Financial position. So we know so this statement show the financial healthy of an organization. So we can simply make the interpretation from that. Okay, and then here we talk about equitable treatment to everybody. We have to be fair and justice, regardless the background. Here what is meant by ethical kan? Kita buat equitable treatment to everybody based on your right. Okay, based on your right. Okay, pada hak masing-masing pulang pada hak masing-masing, bergantung pada hak masing-masing. Because right ataupun right ataupun kita dalam bahasa Melayu kita panggil apa right ni apa dalam bahasa Melayu kita panggil right apa benda ni right apa dalam bahasa Melayu hak kan hak ni tak sama kan. Jadi kalau kita nak equitable kita mesti based on the right. Berdasarkan pada hak. Jadi saya ada hak saya lah sebagai lecturer kan. Saya tak boleh lah sama dengan you ada hak you sebagai student kan. You have your own right as a student, I have my own right as a lecturer. Depending kan, although we have the same the shared right, but okay, the right will also different each other accordingly to the right itself, depending on the people. Okay, and another example we can say that, for instance, true and fair view of financial statement. I think another good example maybe you can, for example, you can go to MIA website. You can see there is a bylaw. Dalam bahasa Melayu kita panggil undang-undang kecil. There is a bylaw or code of ethics of accountants. Itu pun considered as ethical as well. Ethical pun ada, normative pun ada kat situ. Autocratic tak tahulah ada tak ada, tapi you as an accountant, you have to follow, you have to abide by to this code and ethic. For example, you have to be independent, you must have updated knowledge and skill, you must have professional skepticism, okay? You must exercise your professional judgment without bias, semua ada dalam tu. All these things also reflect the ethical approach to accounting theory development. Okay, so that's all for today. Okay, ada any question regarding the discussion so far? Almost 1 hour. Mungkin you pun dah jemu nak dengar saya cakap ni. Ada apa-apa lagi yang nak tanya? So far so good Ada tak?
Sampai selesai.
Okay Jadi just in case you ada apa, if you have question you can post on group WhatsApp So I will try my best to respond if just in case after this you have any question. So thank you very much for your time and effort to join the class. So shortly I will share the barcoding so you can scan your attendance. Those that have problem you can WhatsApp on class WhatsApp and inform me. So I will add manually. Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
Thank you, Doctor.